All right, let's get into it. We're about to unpack a story that honestly completely changed the game for social media and how we all think about our data. I'm talking, of course, about the Cambridge Analytica scandal. It's a wild tale of how something as simple as an online quiz turned into this massive data heist. And believe me, we're still dealing with the fallout today. So think about it. How on earth did a fun personality quiz, the kind you've probably taken a dozen times, lead to one of the biggest, most shocking data scandals of our time? It sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly the question we're going to break down. Let's get into it. Okay, so if we're thinking about this like a heist, every great heist has a hook, right? A clever way to get in the door. And in this story, the hook was something millions of us did, probably without even thinking twice. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Those personality quizzes that pop up on your feed. Which Disney princess are you? What does your favorite color say about you? They're fun. They're irresistible. You click a few buttons and boom, you learn a little something about yourself. It feels totally harmless. But that's what made it the perfect bait. Because with that one little click on I agree, people were basically handing over the keys to their digital lives without even realizing. So, that was the hook, the bait. Deceptively simple. But behind that little quiz, there was a very sophisticated plan. This wasn't just about getting your data. It was about creating a digital backdoor into your entire network of friends. So here's how it worked, and it's a pretty slick 3-step process. Step 1, you take the quiz. You grant the app access. Simple enough. Step 2, the app grabs all your data. Okay, maybe you expected that. But here's the kicker, step 3. This is the real gut punch. The app then reached out and grabbed the data of all your friends too. And they never consented, they never even saw the quiz. That's the move that took this from a kind of shady data grab to a massive, massive violation of privacy. Okay, but why? Why go through all this trouble? The end game was something called political micro-targeting. Basically, it's using everything they learned about you, what you like, who your friends are, your personality traits from that quiz, to hit you with super specific, custom-made political messages. The goal wasn't just to talk to you, it was to influence how you think, how you feel, and ultimately, how you vote. This data wasn't just being stored, it was being weaponized. All right, we've seen the hook and the plan. Now for the score. Let's talk about the mind-blowing scale of this whole operation. This timeline really lays out just how crazy this was. The data collection was happening, under the radar. By 2016, it was actively being used to build political profiles during the US election. But here's the thing, nobody knew. The public was completely in the dark until 2018. Think about that. For 2 whole years, this massive trove of data was being used as a secret weapon, and the people it was being used on had no idea. So what was the final tally? How many people got swept up in this? 87 million. Let that sink in. 87 million Facebook users. That's how many people had their data scraped without their direct consent. It's just a staggering number. A digital dragnet that caught millions who didn't even know they were being fished for. You can't have a heist of this size without some serious fallout. When this story finally broke, the shockwaves were felt everywhere. So let's get into the aftermath and the really tough lessons that came out of it. And the reaction was immediate and intense. This wasn't just some tech news story. It exploded into a global conversation about our right to privacy. People were furious. You saw this huge public backlash against platforms like Facebook. Remember the whole #DeleteFacebook movement? That came from this. And suddenly, governments all over the world started saying, hey, wait a minute, we need stronger laws to stop this from happening again. So, lesson number 1, and this is a big one, was all about ethics and data. This was a massive wake-up call. It basically put an end to the idea that companies could just bury consent in page after page of legal jargon that nobody reads. The scandal drove home a simple point. For consent to mean anything, it has to be clear, it has to be informed, and you have to know exactly what you're agreeing to. And that leads us right into lesson number 2, corporate responsibility. Who's watching the henhouse? This whole thing blew the lid off the dangers of just letting any third-party app have access to user data. The pressure on companies like Facebook became immense. They had to start taking real accountability for what happens on their platforms. You can't just build the house and then not care who you give the keys to. And the final, crucial lesson? Regulation. It became painfully obvious that we just can't expect these giant tech companies to police themselves. It doesn't work. To really protect our privacy, there need to be strong, enforceable laws on the books, rules with real teeth that put control back where it belongs, with us, the users. Which brings us right back to today and leaves us with a really tough question. The Cambridge Analytica scandal might seem like old news, but the problems it uncovered are more relevant now than ever. In a world literally built on data, who's really in charge of protecting yours? Is it on you to read every line of the terms and conditions? Is it on the companies to do the right thing? Or do we need governments to step in and be the ultimate guardians? It's a huge question, and honestly, it's one we're all still trying to figure out.